Well, I thought I'd come out here and see if I had enough basil to harvest to make some basil tea. So let's see if we got enough out here. I've only got a small plant, so I got a bunch of seedlings coming up. I'm trying to only get the very top ones. Probably don't really have enough. Oh, and I'm dropping them. The sweetest ones are those little, what we call suckers on a tomato plant. They're the little ones right up in there, the armpit kind of. But you can get any of the basil leaves to put in there. But those are going to be the sweetest ones, is those little ones right in the center. Go ahead and get some of these. And breaking these off will just help the plant branch out even more. You'll get more and more leaves from your plant if you break some off. The same way the coleus does your flower plant. If you break it, it'll put out more leaves. And I think that'll be enough. Let's see. Yeah, they're pretty clean. Once I get my other basil started, I'll have quite a few basil plants and I'll be able to do more with them. And I probably will fix it like nobody else. Get this light on over here. See how that looks now. Yeah. I've got my pitcher right here that I'm going to put it in. And I'm going to sweeten it with some wildflower honey instead of sugar. But first what I'm going to do, I'm going to make mine in my coffee pot. I make all my teas and everything in my coffee pot. I make coffee in there sometimes, but I make more tea and that type of thing in my coffee pot, my maker, than anything. So I don't know why they call it a Mr. Coffee, because it's a pot that you can make teas and anything else in too. And since I don't use pesticide on my plants, or for the most part, most of them I don't. Occasionally I will, like the kale, or the kale, the cabbage and stuff like that, I will. But I try not to use any of it at all because I don't like using pesticides and poisons in the garden. But I definitely do not use it on basil. And you can mix this with black tea as well. You can use it just like this. I don't know if I've got any black tea. Let me look. I don't have black tea, but I do have green tea. So I'm going to put just 1 tea bag of green tea in there. You know what? I should have, forgive me, I forgot to fill my water reserve up in my coffee maker. So I need my pot to do that. So I don't overflow it. So let me do that. Now, put my basil back in there. And my green tea bag. If you have black tea, you can certainly add black tea. I'm just putting the green tea in there just because I have it, not necessarily because it needs it. Turn it on and let it steep. I mean, it's going to drip, you know, like it does when you normally make tea. I mean, normally make coffee. But we're going to let it go ahead and steep in that pot. It's going to make, and in the meantime, I am going to pour honey in my pitcher. Because like I said, I'm going to sweeten it with honey. That's enough for right now. Because what I want to do is when the tea gets made, right here, I'm going to simply pour that hot tea, that hot basil tea, right into my pitcher with the honey in it. Let me go ahead and do this. That way I can see what I'm showing you. And my kitchen's a mess. Which it always, I mean, I've always got dishes in the sink, so, because I cook all my meals at home. And sometimes I get busy in the garden after I eat. So I don't generally clean up the kitchen. But our tea is making, because you know how it does the coffee. It goes through the filter up there. And it drips down through the coffee grounds, and then it goes in your pot. Well, we don't have our tea up there. I mean, you could put it up there, but it's better to put your basil leaves and your tea bag in the bottom, in your pot itself. Let that scalding hot water drip down in there, and your tea is steeping while that's doing that. Because as it's filling up, it's heating up the basil with that hot water, and it's actually steeping. And what I mean by that is it's drawing all the flavors and everything out of those leaves to make your tea. So we'll let that do its thing. I tell you, it got so hot outside you couldn't do anything. So I came in the house. Maybe some lemon water. Oh, maybe some lemon water. And I'm going to drink a good glass of this basil tea when I get it made, but I will cool it down because I'm not going to drink it hot. I want cold basil tea, so I will put ice in my my container. This is about empty. I drank all the water out of it, and I need to make more lemonade. In fact, I can go ahead and show you while our basil tea is making how I make my lemonade. I'm going to take the same bowl, rinse it out. I'm going to put some water in it. About 2 cups of water, and I'm just simply going to put it in my microwave over here and get it boiling hot. I'll put it on about 3 minutes. And as I said, I keep my sugar in my refrigerator because of the ants. And yes, I use plain white granule sugar in my lemonade. I use lemon concentrate. I take 1 package of lemon Kool-Aid. Go ahead and put that in the container. I'm going to pour in maybe half a cup of lemon juice, and I'm just going to eyeball it. And I usually use this small cup as my measuring for my sugar to go in my lemonade, because I don't put a full actual cup in there. I use one of these little ones. That goes right in there. This is an easy way to make lemonade, and it's really good. Put the sugar up. Yeah, it didn't even take 3 minutes, it's hot. And I'm going to pour it right on my sugar and my lemon juice. I'm going to stir it, let all that sugar dissolve. And this is a 2-liter container. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm just going to see if I can finish filling this pitcher up with water. Just fill it up with cold water. you got a 2-liter container of lemonade. And I need to go ahead and fill up my little I need to fill up my little thermos. As I said, I always empty my ice trays occasionally and fill up a bag of ice so I have it. So I have it when I need it. And I've always got two trays of ice on standby in there. I'm gonna go fill it up to the top because that lemonade is still a little warm, not hot, but it's warm. And there I have me some good lemonade, homemade lemonade. And that lemon juice is nothing but lemon concentrate, so it's pure lemons, you know, just pure lemon juice. Oh, that's so good. So refreshing in hot weather. And this basil tea will be that way too. Now you can sweeten your basil tea with sugar. It's up to you. Or you can just use your honey. I think that's quite enough honey, so I'm going to put a little more. That'll probably do it. I love honey. So I put about half of that little bottle. This is a 12 ounce. So I put about 6 ounces in there maybe of honey, and that should be it. And that's wild, raw, wildflower honey. I don't want to put that in the refrigerator. What am I doing? I'm going to put it over here in the cabinet. So I'm just going to unplug it now or turn it off. I unplug mine because I keep having the switches burn out on them. So I just unplug the coffee maker. That is such good lemonade, I'm telling you. Well, we're going to let that steep just a little bit. It needs to steep for about 15 minutes, something like that. And I guess we can talk while that's steeping. Yeah, you can, like I've got peppermint. You know, I've already done a video on making peppermint tea. And I guess I should make another one because I made that one about a year ago. So. But that basil tea is going to be really good. And the peppermint tea is good too. And you can also add maybe just one tea bag, individual tea bag of black tea or green tea to your peppermint tea if you'd like. But yeah, I made a lot of peppermint tea last year. And basil tea because I drink a lot of lemonade, peppermint tea, basil tea, plain tea, stuff like that because of this heat in Texas. I mean, a lot of times I'll just drink plain water, but I like my teas, you know, my basils, my peppermints, my lemonade. It's really good. turn the notifications back on my phone. Let me get into settings so I can turn the notifications off. I'll probably get the notifications turned off to this one, and the other phone will ring. And I hate to turn it off because I had it turned off for the last 2 days, and my son called 3 or 4 times and left messages, and I never knew it because my notifications were turned off. I didn't hear the phone ringing. Plus, I had the phone in the house and I was outside. So I know my son didn't like that. I think I'll leave them turned on just in case he calls. I'll just have to turn the phone off if anybody else calls. But yeah, you just let that steep for about 15 minutes. And when I was in the garden earlier, I picked another cucumber and a little squash. They were getting too hot out there. And I need to put them in some cold water because they were getting so cold. But I'm going to leave them in some cold water just so they'll rehydrate a little bit, because since they were out there in that heat, it'll help cool them down too. That's just another gardening trick. There's all kind of little hacks and tricks to gardening. And I was out there busy putting up little shade screens for some of my other plants that don't get the benefit of the shade cloth I put up. And I basically did them like I did the cabbage. Well, you know what? We can go out there. Let me see what time it is. We'll go out there and I'll show you while the tea is steeping. I'd like to have an arbor built above my garden, but still it would have to be an awfully big one to cover everything. But see, I rigged that up on the ground from the cabbage over to past the corner of the canopy top, the leg, so it'll help shade that shark fin squash in the late afternoon against that heat coming in from that side. And I did my cucumber right here because it doesn't benefit from the shade of the shade cloth up there. So I just took a couple of bags, split them open, and taped them to the trellis for that cucumber. So when that sun comes from that side, that little plant down there is in the shade or partly shade. And see, I turned it so the white side is facing the street so it doesn't look so bad. And I did my squash plant back here the same way. I just stepped on something that's sticking my foot. But I did my squash plant the same way. Right down there. It was wilting down something bad with that hot sun bearing down on it, so hopefully that will help. It'll get some morning sun, but hopefully it'll be shaded by a lot of this really hot, intense afternoon heat. These two cucumber plants here are shaded from the arbor in the late afternoon. So I think they'll be okay. And I do believe I see a cucumber. I didn't see that one earlier. Look at there. In fact, there's 2 of them in there. 2 cucumbers, one up there and one down there. Oh, and there's a little one up there. I didn't see those earlier. One right there. So I may get some cucumbers. And you can see I had to move this tote here from the rock out there where the spring garden was, because it was getting sun all day long. It never got a break. So I moved it over here. And I put some stuff in there to kill the squash borers, if that's what's affecting that plant. And since I've moved it over here, it seems to be coming back to life. And I don't know what I'll do about the one back there, because it's doing the same thing. It's dying off. I just don't have anywhere else to move it up here. I think what I'm going to have to do is just plant something else in that pot or that tote in the place of it right here. Because I, for the life of me, don't know what killed that vine. I mean, it's killing it. Something is. Or something did. But I'll leave it there. Maybe not getting enough water, I don't know. But like I said, my arbor is not that big. I mean, my canopy top is not that big, so I don't have that much space to put it. And you know what? I might think about moving some over here where I was going to put that greenhouse. And the greenhouse fell through because look at the shade. That's getting afternoon shade. That would be a perfect spot to put some of these plants that are burning up from the sun. So that's a thought. I just hate to have such stuff spread out so far, but I might just do that. I just might do that. Got a squash down in there. And another one started. But yeah, it's getting too hot on some of my stuff. So I don't know. Let me put a little bit more water to it while I'm here. I already emptied that one bucket. And I'm all over here. I'm everywhere but where I'm showing you. I've already been out here one time messing around and got real hot. And I keep that bucket there to keep all the runoff from the tubs in. Like if it rains tomorrow, I'll probably have to come out here and empty these little black buckets. And that's the way that I'm going to be keeping the water and reserving, you know. Just kind of saving on water by doing it. I guess I can always get more shade cloths and hook them to the arbor and then over to the shed, or from the arbor with the canopy top over to the arbor, and kind of pull up the slack on some of those over there, but we'll see. I think water is the main thing. You got to have water. Got to keep water to your plants. Let's go back in and check on our basil tea. Didn't even mean to come out here. I already got cooled down one time after being out here. I was out here earlier and I got so hot. Every bit of my clothing was drenched in sweat to the point I had to change. And I went ahead and washed my other shorts and hung them out there to dry. Because I didn't put them in the washer. I just rinsed them out. Well, I got something here delivered. I got another box. Let's go in here and see what it is. I don't remember ordering anything. I think Bloomin' said she sent something else. Ooh. So, oh my goodness. I'm sweating all over again. No longer than we were out there. Let's see what this is. This might be what Bloomin' sent. I know she's already said I may have to send them back if they're not the right ones, and get the ones that will work for me. So we'll see. Whew. Oh my gosh. Yep, this is what she said she sent. It's wireless microphones. But it's for an iPhone, and I don't have an iPhone. So I do not think it's going to work on mine. But we'll just have to send them back and get some for the phone that I do have. Oh well, I'll test them out later. I'm not going to do it now, but it does say it's for an iPhone, and I have Android. I don't have iPhone anything. So we'll see. And I think it's been long enough on our tea. see. I don't know if you can see what I was fixing to do. I'm just going to take the strainer, put it in the top of my pitcher, and I'm going to pour my tea in. Whoop. Need to open that though, so the basil will go in there. And it will strain it out. That way I don't have any leaves or anything else in there. And it's dissolving that honey down there because it's still hot. And the leftover, the basil tea, the leaves and stuff that's in there, the tea bag, right in the bowl for my compost. Had a mosquito on me. Just mix that up a little bit. Ooh, and it's scalding hot, so it'd be awfully hot to try to put it in on ice. Yep, and that's plenty sweet enough. But I do need to put just a little bit more water in there. And if you don't think it got strong enough, with that, 15 minutes, leave it in there for 30 minutes. It's up to you. It just depends on how strong you want your tea. And I'm going to go hold this over the sink to pour it over this ice because it's full to the brim and it makes drip. I don't trust it. And you can even add lemon to that if you wanted. It is personal choice. And as usual, when you put hot liquid on ice, it does melt. So you might want to make it just a little bit stronger. If you're going to try to drink it right away. But there's your basil tea, y'all. Basil with green tea. And like I said, you can put maybe a drop or two of lemon in there if you want, or cut a lemon wedge, put it in there, and that makes a refreshing, healthy drink for the summer. That and the lemonade both, even though it's got sugar. That's pretty good, y'all. So, here is 2 things you can quench your thirst with in the heat of the summer. Make you a pitcher of lemonade or make you a pitcher of basil tea. And like I said, if you want to put lemon in there, you can. And I almost forgot. Where is it? Okay, I know I got it. Where is it? cinnamon. If you've got ground cinnamon, you can shake some cinnamon in there in your basil tea. And I'm going to put some in my cup, just a little. But I'm not going to put it in there because I've got cinnamon sticks. Since it's still hot, I'm going to put about a half of a cinnamon stick. That's about a half of one what was in there. And I'm just going to drop it right in there. In fact, I may put 2 in there because I like the cinnamon. And you could put it in the coffee maker when you're first steeping it, but since that is still hot, you can put it in there right now and it'll work. So that's basil tea with a hint of cinnamon, and with a hint of cinnamon in my one that I got mixed up here already. So, and by the time that cools off, yeah, it's still pretty hot. This one's cool, but this one's hot because it was basically all steaming hot water. And I'm just going to get a spoon, and I'm going to stir this cinnamon around in here just a little bit. It would have been better if I'd have put it in there when it was hot, but I forgot. Y'all let me forget. And I'm making a mess. Splashing it all out of the jar. And it's sticking to the jar. But yeah, it's better if you put it in there while it's hot. But that's basil tea with one green tea bag and a little bit of cinnamon. That's pretty good. So if you're wondering what to fix to drink to cool yourself off in the heat of this, in this Texas heat, especially if you're in Texas, basil tea or my lemonade that we just made will work. So do either one or both. That's what I do. I usually make both because I drink about a 2-liter pitcher of lemonade every 2 days. And the same with the tea. If I have it made, I'll drink a pitcher of that in about 2 days because it's so hot and you're constantly needing to drink, you know, to refresh yourself and to rehydrate, not dehydrate, but to rehydrate yourself. If you're in other parts of the country, it might not be as bad as the Texas heat, but here in this Texas heat, you've got to have something to rehydrate with. And basil tea is very refreshing. Good stuff, y'all. So, next time you get thirsty, instead of going to the store and grabbing a Coke, make you a 2-liter pitcher of lemonade, or make you a 2-liter pitcher of basil tea. You'll be glad you did. And with that, I appreciate you hanging out with me another time. Oh, my nose itches. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Bless each and every one of you. I love you all dearly. And Bloomin', I'll get that I guess I'll send a message to you about the microphone for the camera, and we'll take it from there. But anyway, please like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. I need that. And have a blessed night, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye now.